Good evening and welcome everybody. We are back on the Barber's Arms, episode 68, 22nd of the 9th, 21. Sorry we missed you last week. I know some of you tuned in and we're answering the few questions of last week's on the week before show. We are live tonight. Alison Russo, you are allowed to watch again. We're trying to mix it up. We're on a Wednesday again. We've got some great guests with you tonight. We've got Guy. Oh. Sorry, we lost feed there just for a second. We've got Californian, Colorado barber all the way from the States, Gary Machin, Sonnyboythebarber, and we've got Bill Hammoud all the way from Australia. Thank you for the last week's people who came on the show. Last episode that we run, not last Wednesday because we went missing in action. So Jenny, James and Cower from Man Cave. Jenny, we thank you. Thank you for coming on the show. We had a great show, 75,500 viewers. So without any ado, as you can see, we are missing my better half, Mr. Simon Shaw. He's gone missing in action. He's had a makeover. He's in rehab. It's all happening. I don't know where he is in the country. He's gone missing. So just to stand in for us this week, we have got a great guest, my co-host tonight, who's standing in. He is the better half of Captain Fawcett, his right-hand man. I'd like to introduce multi-award winning Mr. Richie Finney.
Good evening, everybody, and thank you very much indeed, Gary, for a most excellent introduction. I should say that just temporarily standing into in Simon Shaw's shoes, try saying that after a few pints, Simon Shaw's shoes is no mean feat. So I'm honoured to be invited. Thank you very much.
This is second time on. This doesn't happen very often, you know, Richie. This is the second time on the show for you. You did a little spot for us with Captain Fawcett prior to the expo, which went really well, and it was a great success. But what have you been up to just lately? What's your week been like? I know you had a busy weekend, so tell us a little bit.
I remember I came on again actually with Xavier Beryl, the co-founder of Barbers, and we had a bit of a plug for Barbers, which we can maybe mention a bit later, which is another huge success. But this week has been absolutely madcap. Because as we know, events, across the world, slowly sort of opening up again. And this last weekend, I was in Goodwood Revival, where Captain Fawcett had a little tent. And it was just huge. It was brilliant to see all the cars and the motorbikes, out there again. It's just beginning to taste a little bit of normality, really.
Do you know what? It's one thing I've never, ever been to. It's the Festival of Speed, and it's grown into a huge show now, hasn't it? Into a huge success with racing, and not only that, people like yourself attending.
Yeah, the Festival of Speed is an event in July. Whereas the Revival, it's brilliant. I prefer it because everyone just dresses up in period costumes. And a few years ago with the 75th anniversary of the Battle of Britain, they had every single flying Spitfire came from all over the world. So, you're there and you're working and you can hear all the cars or the motorbikes going around, the smell of Castrol, and then there's Spitfires literally dogfighting. It's amazing. If anyone's got the opportunity, it's a petrol head's heaven.
Yeah, I thought I watched some of the vintage racing. It was absolutely fantastic, and kept looking for you. I didn't see you there, but I thought you'd be hiding behind a tent or a waff somewhere, trying to catch their eye.
Well, I think my days of racing are probably seriously numbered. Unless you can get a sponsored waddle.
Well, Richie, as I said, it's a pleasure to have you on the show. I'd just like to take this opportunity to our usual viewers out there. So we've got Rachel as usual, Jameen, we've got Vagabonds, Pivot Point Mark, Walter Stefanos. So all those guys that usually speak to us, and keep messaging. Everything's great, and it keeps us going. Guys, as well, if you've got a particular night that you favour, we're trying Wednesday nights to include barbers who are always working on a Friday. I know Friday's a difficult night, so we've tried to mix it up a little. So I know we don't finish till 7, 7:15, 7:30 on a Friday, and some of you guys don't even. And I know a lot of people catch it up on the podcast as well. So anybody who doesn't catch us tonight live, you can go to thebarbersarms.co.uk. You can pick up any previous episodes, 68 altogether, and all past events as well. So that's that. From your point of view, you brought it up earlier, the Barbers ride. I know we supported you. That cost me £100 on that night when you came on, you know. And it, I was ashamed. I would have given it anyway, but I couldn't think of a better cause to give it to. No. So, have you got any information on how that finished up? I know you got rather wet.
Oh yeah, I mean the first day when we left Cutthroat Pete's and rode up to the House Martins Barbers in Glasgow, we were drenched. In fact, you know, Barbers ride is not to be taken lightly. I mean, it is. I mean, we are really, you know, putting yourself out there. You're doing anything up to 300 miles a day, and most people who ride bikes can quite easily do, you know, 250, 300 miles in a day, but they may not do anything else that week. We are doing it over 5 or 6 consecutive days, and the host and all the barbershops was just phenomenal. But as you're right, the first day was so wet, and I thought I might shrink, but unfortunately that didn't happen. But
you had a few casualties as well, because we had Jenny on the last show, and she was giving everybody stick, saying, you know, oh, my bike never breaks down. And I know Mr. Ricks, he had a little mishap as well. I think they were all waterlogged, weren't they?
Well, I think Dan Ricks's bike, in actual fact, is still in at the dealership being fixed. And Jenny's bike, the Indian did break down one day, but we got it all going. In fact, there was a guy called Justin who helps plan the routes, and there's a few kind of quite serious mechanics on there. And the next day, her bike was sorted, and she then proceeded to have a great ride.
Yeah, she let us. What was the total in the end? Did you know?
It's not. We haven't got all the money in, but we're looking at 20 grand, which is no mean feat, you know.
Absolutely, and what a great cause as well. Absolutely fantastic.
I mean, the hospitality. As I said, we left House Martin Barbers, and then went up to where did we go next? Where did we go? Fort William to Stag and Buck, which is really cool.
I don't know what you're looking at me for, Richie. I don't know.
No, I'm sometimes, you know, I struggle. I'm not sure if it's an age thing, but sometimes I seek divine guidance. So I mean, looking at you, I'm thinking you may well be able to help on all kinds of things. In fact, I've got a couple of personal problems I'm going to chat to you about later. But so we went to Stag and Buck, and the hospitality from those guys in Fort William was second to none. And then we went over to Collins at Hard Grind in Dundee. And then down to Yarm. What was the name of that shop? The Ultimate Grooming, wasn't it? Somebody that was called Ultimate Grooming. The guys there, which is absolutely stupendous. And then we ended up in Leeds at Lord's Barbers, and we were met by the Lord Mayor himself.
Oh, very good. If anybody guesses, we are in the pub, but Richie's got his trusted PA with him, who's actually feeding him his questions as well. So when he keeps looking back and you hear the voice of Bryony, lovely to hear you, Bryony.
Yeah, no, she's here.
I'm glad you're looking after.
Well, we've all heard of care in the community, and Bryony does that for me. And she's actually passed me a drink as well from my friend's Rock Sober. Did you see that? That's amazing. It's like going through some kind of portal. I can make it disappear. Well, yeah. Oh, it's gone. I like this. Can I have one of these to play with at home?
Right. So you're having a Rock Sober because you're off the beer because you've decided to see the light. Well, unfortunately, I haven't yet. So I'm going to join you in my Barber's Arms glass. I'm trying a little Amstel number tonight. So good health, everybody. Happy Wednesday night.
Well, the thing about this Rock Sober is actually triple brewed. This stuff's made in Belgium. I mean, you can see there's a really decent head on there. And I mean, it's just you can drink without the hangover, you know.
Oh, perfect. And just while Richie's taking his first sip, if you want to join us tonight, if you want any feedback, if you're going to follow us, I am the British Barber on Instagram, and we've got at Captain Fawcett. So any information that you want off Captain Fawcett's right-hand man, Mr. Richie Finney, if you want to go onto their Instagram account and find out anything about Barbers Ride or anything that's going on with Captain Fawcett, you can find it there. Any past or anything you want to pass on to us or any past podcasts is thebarbersarms.co.uk. So we've got 5 minutes just before our first guest. We've got a fantastic guest coming in. Guy Macadam. He's coming all the way from Colorado. He's hopefully setting up as we speak, and he's going to be with us in about 5 minutes. So just before Guy comes in, is there anything funny that's happened this week? Have you got any jokes for us, Richie?
Well, I think the trouble is of my age and things, and I keep mentioning my age, but I think lots of my jokes are totally politically incorrect. So one has to be very, very careful because I seem to offend everybody most of the time, you know. So I think I may sort of, you know, I'll think of something that may not offend too many and come back on that. But I mean, I think life itself is a very funny thing, you know, if you observe it in that particular way, you know.
Well, you know, all the language that you use and bringing back the old sayings and different bits of history on your feed it's a joy to watch. You have sent me some samples of your glorious escapades as well, but we're going to do a special. I spoke to production, and we're going to do a special show for those. We're gonna. I know Simon's received some, and I've received some as well, and we've got a few different companies that have sent us different products. So we're going to do a look and see and a little test and a bit of write-up. So I'm going to leave yours tonight. Okay. Only because Simon's already had his as well. We need to do it together. But I know you've got some other news as well, haven't you? About your products getting in for a certain award, is it?
Yes, Pure Beauty Awards. We've been shortlisted for 2 for our Alessandro Manfredini perfume, eau de parfum, and for our moisturizer. And the very interesting thing about Alessandro Manfredini, check him out on Instagram. He really is one of those incredible silver fox models, Italian models. And his house was totally destroyed by an earthquake in southern Italy. And he didn't have insurance. So he's really, really down on his uppers. And about 11, 12 years ago, we got involved with the beard exhibition with the photography of Brock Elbank, and Alessandro Manfredini came really from nowhere, from this totally destroyed life, and he's become this well-known model, as I said. So we've done this perfume, and on the bottle is it's the iridescent bottle. It's really beautiful, and it's got a beetle, and he wanted to use the beetle because it's accepted that if in the event of the worst ever kind of Holocaust or global destruction, somehow or another the cockroach or the beetle would survive. So it's a symbol of a survivor. So that's the perfume. And the moisturizer, we've done 2 moisturizers, one Captain Fawcett and one with Ricky Hall. And I just sent a message to Ricky Hall to say that, you know, we'd been nominated for awards in bloody Dubrovnik. You know, here am I in King's Lynn, Norfolk and Good, and he's lying on the beach in Dubrovnik, you know.
Yeah, well, if anybody wants to get involved in that, if anybody's used the actual said product, it actually finishes on the 25th. So if people just get onto Captain Fawcett's website or on their Instagram, all the details on how you vote for those products, it's well worth it because in fact, I will let people. This is one of the said products that he's talking about. This is the Ricky Hall one. It smells. I mean, the Memsob says it smells like a dad because it eats booze and backy.
Yeah, yeah.
And it smells absolutely. It just smells like my dad. It's a bygone age, if you like, and I truly recommend it. So anybody out there who wants to try it, first of all, get it ordered off Richie, and then you can vote for it as well. So
yeah, I'd really hugely appreciate the votes. I've got 3 votes so far, but 2 of them from my mum. Well, we need all the help we can get, everybody. Mwah, thank you.
Well, last time I had you on, it cost me 100 quid. So this time it won't be so painful. I'll get you a few votes, mate.
Lovely, thank you very much. Great.
Fantastic. Well, we've got a few more. We've got Sean, Rachel, and we've got Mark again as well on watching us at the moment. Wednesday seems to be a thumbs up, so that's great. Please give your comments freely, and we will try and fit the show round you guys. So, without further ado, we are going to go, and production has just told me that Guy Sonnyboy McAdam, the barber, is in the house. He is going to join us. He's an award-winning barber of 30 years from Colorado, and he's going to join us in the arms. Guy, are you there?
Hi, can you hear me?
We got you.
All right. Hey.
How are
Nice
you,
to
mate?
meet you.
Hi, Richie. Hi,
How are
Gary.
you?
How are you guys today? Or this evening for you?
Very well, thank you. It's 8:15 at night. What time is it where you are, Guy?
It's 1:15, 13:15.
All right, perfect. So we're very, very chuffed. We're honoured to have you on the show. We've heard a lot about you. You've got a great social media presence.
Thank you.
You've got a very distinctive style, a very distinctive style of working as well. Just before I introduce you to my co-host tonight, Richie, who's standing in for Mr. Simon Shaw, could you just give us a couple of minutes or a little bio for all our viewers out there who don't know you, who you are, what you are, and where you're from?
All right. Well, I'm originally from, grew up in Southern California, Orange County area, Los Angeles area. At my age, I'm 57, so I was in the punk generation in the mid to late 70s and very early 80s, and especially when all the British stuff started coming across. I'm really into British music, punk rock, and that's how when I started cutting hair back in the 70s, messing around, we all were taking our long hair off and doing mohawks and actually designs back in the 70s. And then it just kind of blended in to the 80s, and I kept doing it, but I didn't acquire a license until I got really, really serious about it and decided that's what I wanted to do, because for a little while I was a stonemason. And I decided I wanted to go back and cut hair, but I want to do it in a bigger way. So I went to barber school, graduated. I took it very seriously. Passed the state board the first time. And that I don't know, I just take barbering as a lifestyle, and I take the stuff that you learn from extended education or whatever. I take it very seriously because that shapes who you are, where you come from, and the style of haircut that you do. And for me, it comes from my soul. It comes from the inside. And some of my clients are like, oh, like Michelangelo. I'm like, no, I'm just a barber. I just carve it out, because I use clips as a base, but then I freehand the fades. I freehand everything. I shape the art on their head. So yeah.
Fantastic. So you come from California. Where are you actually working now?
I'm in Colorado. I'm doing a private studio right now until the COVID thing makes up its mind what it wants to do. I'm not putting myself in public. Because of my age, I've gotten the vaccines, and I'm just doing it safe until everything's back to normal, if it ever is. Hopefully, God willing, it will be.
Fantastic. Richie, is there anything you want to ask Guy?
Well, it's very interesting because Guy was mentioning, you were talking, sir, about the early punk thing. Well, I mean, my history is that too was my era, and I worked in one of the London clubs called the Fridge, where that was founded by Andrew Chubosky and Sue Carrington, who'd actually had run the 100 Club, of course.
Wow.
And then the Roxy, even, which was the
wow. My goodness.
So that's
right
a very interesting period of time. And I think in the early 80s, you talked about mohawks and stuff, but in Britain particularly, and London especially, the flat top was really the real haircut. And there was various barbers were doing that, and the best guy was in Tulse Hill, a guy called Haircut Sir Andy. He's unfortunately passed now. And he would do all that totally freehand and by eye. And he had a little, one chair barbershop, and people would be queuing up Tulse Hill down into Brixton, which of course you'll know of.
Absolutely. That's awesome. Charlie from the UK Subs, he's still around.
Yeah.
Pushing 70 years old, playing around the road still.
Yeah.
There's a lot of good stuff for those of us that survived to turn it into a positive thing.
I think you're right. Survival was the key then.
Right?
Yeah.
Right. The 80s were rough.
You see, I'm just a young pup compared with you two. So I'm only 52. So I was just getting the tail end of that era. Right on. But you were talking about flat tops and the rockabilly kind of era. You had flat tops, you had the horseshoe, you had all big hair, but it went in a different direction. And I think growing up and working in the late 70s, early 80s, it gave you a great grounding in our industry, didn't it, Guy?
Oh, sometimes a smack in the head. It was old school. It was like, don't ruin the name of my barbershop while you're cutting.
Yeah, but also from a professional point of view, it gave you a fantastic training as well, because everything was in fashion, wasn't it? From a flat top to long hair to the mullet to there was so much diverse in the late 80s. The ponytail, everything was going on. All the blokes were looking more new romantic era.
New romantic, yeah.
Looking like women, and women were looking more like blokes, and it gave you some great skills, a great era.
It's coming back in America right now. The 80s are coming back. I'm doing some mullet haircuts. I'm doing all kinds of stuff.
And you know what? We'll be well placed to do all that stuff again, won't we?
Yes.
Won't we just a skin fade?
Yes, sir. It's like long hair. No problem. Bring your wife. I got her covered too. Got the shears.
We got a lot of long hair come back in. Well, it's beginning to go out again, but I mean, there's a long lockdown, long hair kind of thing. So lots of people have got room about being creative for that.
Oh yeah. Absolutely. It's the mullet with the skin new school taper on the side now.
Yeah. I've looked at a lot of your work on your bio as well.
Thank you.
Coming onto the show, Sonny, and you do class yourself as kind of old school blends. You do a lot of what I'd class as classic haircuts. A lot of finishing by hand, which no guards, which I love that.
And I don't edit my photos either. It is what it is. If you want a haircut, I can copy that. It's not being. There's too much non-realistic things on the internet these days.
Well, I mean, I think people, what it is as well, Sonny, is people are pushed to the point where they have to be on social media, and they don't like putting stuff on there that's mediocre, so they find themselves tweaking the photos. That's a polite way of putting it. But I think from a professional, it's kind of it's a false economy, really, because when somebody wants that haircut and they say, I want it like that, and you've got to start airbrushing it out, it can be.
I pinch and zoom and I say, see how it's blurry and the black is fake? They're like, oh, I didn't notice that. I'm like, well, there you go. And then I do it better than that picture.
Well, that really brings me to another question then. What do you think about the new age barber, the new fame barbers, the Instagram specials? What's your feeling on that?
Oh my goodness, you just opened a whole can of a whole bunch of different stuff. Woo, okay. My thing is learn clipper over comb, learn shear work. When you have that in your pocket, you're more valuable than a nice fade. A nice fade is like 40% at best of the haircut. Learn how to finish right here. Learn how to blend that skin line up a little bit. Learn how to do the shear game with a lot of texture. It's okay to be fully rounded. It's okay to use shears. In the States, people, man, there's only a couple of us when I was in shops in Colorado that were actually using shears, and one of us, which was me, doing clipper over comb out of 8 people.
Just for people out there who aren't in the States, she is our scissors. So in the UK,
yes.
when I've worked in America and North America, it's really hard to get my head around different things that you call things.
I call them scissors, but I'm old and cranky sometimes. Get a little salty. Yeah.
So, when you come to, we've got to get onto the COVID thing. When we have people from around the world, we like to get their feel or their touch on it. So, how's the whole COVID thing touched you, and how is it now in your area?
Honestly, in my area, the beds are full in the hospitals. They double and triple bedded single rooms, usually for isolation. The hospitals are full in Colorado. It's not on the news, but I have family that's in the medical profession that works 5 miles from my house at a hospital, and it's full. It's triple bedded instead of single bedded. It's horrible. It's back to how it was March of 2020 already. It's that bad in America right now.
Right. So from an industry point of view, you said you're in a private studio, so you're working on your own. You're obviously taking appointments, so customers aren't crossing over.
I use the Booksy application.
Yeah. So you're a Booksy ambassador as well. Are you still wearing the masks in the salon then as well?
Yes, I do, because I smoked cigarettes for a really long time before I quit, and give me a little of the emphysema, a little bit light, but I don't play with fire anymore. I grew up a long time ago, and this is serious, and it's not fake news, and it's real. Don't watch TV, just observe and ask people that work in the medical profession what's really going on, and they'll tell you.
Yeah. From our point of view, I know Richie, he's traveling. He's just done a big show at the weekend. I think in the UK at the moment, it's in the UK at the moment, it's we're not back to normal, but venues are opening, live music's coming back. How it's going to go, I don't know yet. We aren't back to.
Do you guys have to fill out that app on the phone that it says clear?
No, not yet.
We have an app out here that you got to fill out to go to venues, because I'm going to Vegas tomorrow morning until Monday for Punk Rock Bowling Music Festival. It's the America's version of Rebellion in the UK, which is going on, and I'm so jealous. And my dream before I die is I want to go to Rebellion, because I love UK bands. I love them.
Well, we'll certainly have a drink with you when you come over.
Heck yes, sir.
That'd be a brilliant thing to do. I think it's really, as Gary was saying, in England it seems to have stabilized, and because I think it's something like, I'm not a great person on numbers, but something like 81%, if not 89%. Of the population have now received their jabs. The schools are back, and we seem to have relaxed lots of the rules and things. And I imagine that, given that so many people have been jabbed, that they're now kind of hoping or relying, I suppose, on herd immunity. So although there are something like 30,000 cases a day or something like this, not many of those are being hospitalized. But
we have lower numbers of vaccinated people here.
Yeah. Well, I know some friends of mine actually who went to Sturgis, and that was a bit of a cluster.
Oh my goodness!
Yeah, I heard was a cluster, FUCK, and
yes, sir.
and two of my friends were very, very anti the whole thing, and they both ended up in hospital, both very, very ill, and one of them is actually now dragging a bottle of oxygen around with her, and her whole Facebook tone has changed. She reiterated exactly what you said. This is real.
Yes, I've been close, and it gets really real when you're close.
Yeah.
Just before we go on to the next question, Sonny, what do you prefer to be called, by the way? I've got Guy, I've got Sonny.
Guy's my real name. My mom and my family call me that, so I go by Sonny. Sonny Boy was my street punk rock name in Hollywood back in the day. I just kind of took it into barbering world, you know.
So we're going to call you Sonny from now on. Sonny, what you drinking anyway?
Just a little of America's barbershop beer, PBR.
Oh yeah.
Oh, very good.
Yeah, it's good
What
on
else?
a hot day.
All of it. We've got my very good friend here, Richie. He said, what you on, Richie?
I'm drinking rock sober. And I have to tell you, Sonny, that I've had a pretty wild life as well. And it does catch up with you. So I've been 4 years completely clean, teetotal.
Good.
And
Good for you.
and that's, you know, I don't make a song and dance about it, but I do like a beer. And these guys, Rock Sober, they make something that's brilliant, passable, and you wouldn't actually know, apart from you don't get the hangover. So that's what I'm drinking.
Heck yeah, no hangover is a good thing.
Sonny, so you talked about you going to Vegas. Do you do any barbering shows over in the States?
You know, let me just say, in Colorado, barbering is not like barbering in California. Barbering in California, they have barbershops. They don't dye hair. They don't do perms. It's a barbershop. Here in Colorado, it's mixed salon barbershop combo. It's a whole different game. So nobody in Colorado has ever gotten a lot of recognition. I don't know why, but coming from California, they don't have a booth set up at Punk Rock Bowling. I wish they did, because I would love to do that. They just don't, and they should, because there's like the Southern California Hoedown that just happened that has a barber out there cutting hair, big pomade sponsorship on the banner. I mean, that stuff is cool. I mean, what, bikers and pomade and barbers and musicians, and we all come together and mix intermittently, pass each other through our days or whatever. You know, I don't know.
You know where our next meetup's going to be then, and we're going to put that right between the three of us. We've got all we need right on this page right here to put that into. Definitely.
Yes.
Just quickly, do you think from the barber shop or the barber connect or the barber shows, are they as busy? Is it happening in the States at the moment?
Las Vegas and BarberCon in Connecticut. I didn't go to that. My goal was to bring old school and new school together, and I've accomplished that. But it took a long time. But I'm looking for that other level where I love educating, and I love spreading the word of good news, good product. I have a whole bunch of pomade companies I stand behind. Wahl clipper I've used since day one. I was never a Masters fan, because as slow and bad as I was, Masters got too hot. So I just stuck with Wahls because I got used to the Wahl Senior 5-star, you know.
Yeah, perfect.
But no, they're not as big this year at all. They're big. Social media makes it look really big, but
yeah, social media can make anything look big, can't it? So
I wanted to go to the one that you guys were just at. I mean, that would be awesome.
Well, Richie, I think we're making a little bit of comeback, aren't we, on the show scene? What's the next one you're doing? Because I don't know if you know, Richie is a manufacturer and of a great product, Captain Fawcett. But he does all the major shows as well, and he distributes all over the world. So what's your thoughts on the show thing,
Well,
Richie?
we've got Salon coming up on the weekend of October 14th, 15th. And I think that's going to be the first big one. And I'm really kind of looking forward to that. And along with Mike Taylor Education, I've been invited to be the judge. They've got a whole thing. I can't remember exactly what it's called. Yeah, it's the Barber Clash. They're doing it on the Monday, and they're going to have 4 different competitions. And I think the third one in is Beard and Moustache, and they've asked me to be one of the judges for that. So I'm quite honored to do that. So I'm looking forward to getting back into the show scene. Yeah.
Right on.
Are you exhibiting there, Richie, or not?
No, I think it's his early days. I've never really exhibited at Salon. I like to pop down there and catch up with mates and chew the fat, rather than always work the halls. The next one that I'll be Barber Connect next year, which I'm pleased to say is back on the calendar at some point in June. I think I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah, great stuff. Well, we'll see. We'll have a pint in London at Salon. I'm judging on the Wahl stage as well, and we do some work for. Hopefully, we do some stuff for the fellowship and different things. So we'll be down there. Talking about the Brits, what do you think of British barbering at the moment, then, Sonny?
Tell you what, you guys are blowing up. People follow me like a lot in Moscow and South America and the UK and I look at the UK. I've texted barbers, how do you get that crop, the Euro crop, I call it, because I don't know the proper name for it. And they told me how, and I'm like, cool. So now I do it. But I love the style of the UK. Clothing, hair, everything is always ahead of, I'd hate to say it, but ahead of the game.
Well, that's great to hear, and I'm sure it's all about collaboration at the end of the day, mate, isn't it? It's giving and not always taking. It's giving when we can and helping people along the way, which I love, and I think that's a mantra we can actually follow and live to as well. So, have you got any last words, Captain Fawcett's right-hand man?
Well, I'm just going to say to Sonny that, I've been pretty well in every state, but I've never been in Colorado. And I've got a friend out there that I'm overdue a visit. I think from yesterday, we can get back into the States. I'm not going to be able to be coming straight away, but I'll certainly I'd look you up. And I understand you're in Colorado Springs. Is that correct?
No, I'm in northern Colorado, about 45 minutes north of Denver towards Wyoming.
Okay, I'm definitely because I want to ride Pikes Peak, so I've got to get.
Okay. It's quite high and hits the chest pretty good when you're getting older. at least for me, I'm like, no, you kids go ahead. I'm gonna drive up to the top.
Okay. Do you ride yourself?
Motorcycles?
Yeah.
Oh gosh, I rode Harley Davidsons my whole life, and then I gave it up about 3 years ago. I said, you know what? As crazy as texters want to wreck me all the time, I'm done.
Yeah.
I'm done. I got.
Well, you should
30
check
years.
out Barber's Ride. We have an annual event in the UK that for Make a Wish. I think last year we raised 27 grand. This year 20 grand, and it's like 40 bikers. Lots of guys come in from Europe as well, although they weren't able to do that this year. And we do about a 1,200-mile ride, a hop from barbershop to barbershop. Check us out.
Nice. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Have you ever been over to the UK, Sonny?
No, sir, I have not. And I probably wouldn't come back. I'd be an illegal alien.
Well,
I have tons of family there, I guess.
Well, if you ever come over, sir, you've got 2 beds here, one in Kings Lynn and one in Staffordshire, waiting for you.
Thank you.
No problem at all.
I have relatives in Stoke-on-Trent.
Yeah.
In that area. My mom's very British, very English. So I'm half English.
That's where Gary lives.
It's where my car's made, my Mini Cooper.
You're not going to believe this, but we'll connect after the show, and I'll send you some stuff. I'll connect with your family, because that's exactly where I come from.
And respect to you, gents, and nice meeting both of you.
Thank you very much for your time. An absolute pleasure to talk to you, Sonny.
And a pleasure to meet an old punk. Absolutely. Not a lot of us sucking air at the moment.
That's true. Oh man, far out.
So there we have it, ladies and gents. We have Sonny the Barber all the way from Firestone in Colorado. It's been an absolute pleasure, sir. We will definitely connect after the show in the next couple of days. But thank you for giving us your time. All the very best. Have a great day.
Thank you.
It's a good night for me and a good afternoon from him.
Yeah. What a lovely fella.
Oh, amazing. Really, really interesting. And there are a lot of connections all through there. Stoke-on-Trent, punk, motorcycles. I mean, there's everything.
We put the show together on purpose, isn't it?
Yeah.
Do you know what? When we were just talking, I take it you've travelled the North America quite a bit then.
I have. I've been in most states. I've got a little, well, it's pretty inoperative now, but I've got a little motorcycle tour company that sets up kind of really special stuff. So I've been to Sturgis, Daytona, Route 6. I've been pretty well everywhere in the States, but not Colorado, quite seriously.
Yeah. Because of the job, I mean, we're very, very lucky. You've done it for pleasure as much for anything, but I've worked in North America, all over Canada and America, and there's only about 4 states I think I haven't been into, and Colorado's, well, the closest I think is Salt Lake City. I think I've been there, and I think there's Hawaii, Alaska, and Montana or something like that that I haven't been to. So I've been very lucky, and I've done a lot of work in California. So a lot of the places you were talking about resonate with me, and it's a great place to be a barber, California.
Well, I'm still wanted in some states and not wanted in other ones.
You've still got the wanted sticker out on you, have you?
I've got the poster here somewhere.
You know what? That doesn't surprise me.
I used to spend a lot of time tearing them down,
Did you ever work there in the film industry?
No, I didn't. Canada, but the thing is, in America, it's very, very difficult because it's very unionized, and unless you've got an Oscar, you've got pretty no hope of working in the States. They have to make a real case. If they really want you, you end up being shadowed by somebody who would be able to do your job anyway. So it's nigh on impossible.
All right, so it's only the talent, the acting talent that they want over there.
Well, the acting talent, or really, really top end, Oscar winning sound recordists or cameramen. And I mean, it was so difficult to film in the States that, when you see New York skylines in the majority of movies, it's invariably Toronto. And I could go on about the film industry for ages, but very difficult to work in the States.
Do you know what? I guess a lot of filmmakers and cameramen now, drones must be your work. They're doing so much work now in the industry as well, aren't they? It's they're capturing so much footage in those sorts of skylines as well.
I think I personally think drone footage is overused now. It was a kind of a gimmick, but now, I mean, any sort of basic documentary of somebody walking around the cliffs of Devon will have drone footage. I think it's overused because I think some of the amazing crane shots, and when you look at movies of the 80s and 90s, and when they had real numbers of extras, now they'll have 3 extras and they'll computer clone them, and suddenly you've got 3,000 people there. You look very carefully, they're all the same person.
There you have it, the insider, straight from.
Yeah, I mean, the days of the extras for Gandhi and things like that have gone. Now it's 3 guys in a kebab.
Yeah, when you did a film like Ben-Hur or something like that, it was it must cost costumes and wardrobe a fortune. Yeah. Fantastic. So there you see, you haven't got just barbering tonight. We've got the film industry covered as well.
I think we've got everything covered here in the Barber's Arms.
We have. Right. So all those that have joined us, all those people that have joined us again, if you want to catch up with any episode from the Barber's Arms or join us and give us some insight into what you want and what you feel, you can join us on the barbersarms.co.uk and pick our brains. One of the admin team will get to you and pass on any information that you need. We've got the outstanding Richie Finney from Right Hand Man, Captain Fawcett. If you want to catch him or any information about Captain Fawcett, just at Captain Fawcett on Instagram. And you've got yours truly, The British Barber. So anybody wants to give us a follow, please do. So we have got our second guest now. Time's clicking along. We're 8:45 already. So we're going to introduce our next guest. Well, we've got 2 now. I've just had from production that we've got an extra guest. So we've got Bill and George all the way from Southern Australia in Sydney. And they're in one of their barbershops, Moe Co. And we've had Bill on before on episode 14. So another guy who's been on twice, which is a very rare breed. So round of applause for Bill and George. How are you guys?
Hi, Gary. How's it going?
I'm very well, sir. You looking well?
Thank you very much. Likewise.
fat. I've got a tight t-shirt on tonight, so it's pulling me in a bit. But
are you wearing trousers tonight, though?
I am actually. It's actually... Hey, Richie.
Hi.
Yeah, we're wearing trousers. We're wearing tracksuits here because it's 5 a.m. It's 6 a.m. here.
Really? That's amazing. Yeah. Welcome. No, great to speak to you, gentlemen.
Nice to meet you.
So for you two guys who don't know, Richie's filling in for Simon, as you know, because Simon's gone AWOL. He's having a bit of a makeover, and then he's gone into rehab. So we're just covering for him tonight. We missed last week. It's lovely to have you back on the show, Bill. Entrepreneur extra special because the stuff you've done is of legends, and we found out your backstory on the last show, which was show 14, which seems a long time ago now, but a lot's changed. And the reason we've had you back on the show, obviously, all the upset and mayhem that COVID has caused, but it's still actually happening in your neck of the woods as well, isn't it? You're still getting some grief over there. So just quickly, because I know Richie doesn't know your story. For those guys who missed episode 14, would you just give us a quick bio of who you are, what you are, and what Moe Co is?
Okay, I'm not very good at public speaking or speaking, but I'll have a go. My background is obviously haircutting, and I learned haircutting from a friend of mine, our neighbor, years ago, and I found that haircutting is a way to, meet people and get your portfolio and your connections up and all that. So Moe Co is about young guys, passionate guys, lifestyle, growing together. We built up this company through our passion and through helping young guys that want to come up, the ranks. And here's an live example, George, right here. He'll tell you his story.
Right. So from your point of view, what is Moe Co now? How many shops have you got now?
There's 48
wow.
around Australia. Yeah,
that's impressive.
And you're still opening, aren't you? You're still pushing it all the way. You're not happy just to sit on your laurels. You're still opening new shops all the way as well, aren't you?
Honestly, I feel the guys that are coming up. I feel if I stop, they will lose an opportunity, and I feel like we're still young. We're still a young family. We want to grow, with everybody that wants to join. And honestly, we come from a passionate background, so we love education, and we love teaching what we have. My parents are all both school teachers, so we're all about education. And I think the key is educating these young guys to come up with you and grow themselves as well.
That's an absolute, the best reason and the best way to do it. Just go to you quickly, George. Where are you in the company then? Where do you fit?
So basically, just very, very briefly, I started as an apprentice. Came into the hair industry kind of almost on a whim, and I now I look after operations on a national scale. So making everything runs nice and smoothly, and with 48 shops, it does get a little crazy, but we find that just staying positive and keeping in mind what our focus is, which, like Will said, is focusing on growth for the next generation in the hair industry is critical. So that's essentially my role in a nutshell. Yeah.
How long have you been with the company, George?
Coming on 3 years now. Okay,
cool. So you made it up the greasy pole very quick. You've done a great job.
a lot of hours, a lot of 7-day weeks, and pushing for it. But I found a real passion in it. So it was whilst big weeks and long hours sound like a lot, when you love what you do, it really doesn't. You don't realize it.
And where are you guys now? Are you in Melbourne or Sydney?
No, we're in Sydney. We're in Sydney, yeah, Sydney. Melbourne had a bit of yesterday.
Sorry?
Melbourne had a bit of an earthquake. Did you hear about that?
No.
Yeah.
A large earthquake, yeah.
When was that?
Yesterday.
Yeah, it was.
Wow.
We've definitely been.
So we've been busy in Australia.
Yeah, we've definitely been put through the ringer a little bit. So.
Because I've been in Melbourne. I went to the Barbers show there. Because there alternates between Melbourne and Sydney, isn't that correct?
They're the bigger cities, yes, that's right.
And I went to the Melbourne one. I had a really fantastic time there. I really liked the old buildings, but I never actually got to Sydney.
Oh, one day, maybe after COVID, you're welcome to come. Like you said before, you've got a bed waiting for you.
Oh, brilliant. Thank you. That's really, really kind. And talking about the COVID and so forth, I know this is something that Gary and I were talking about, really interested in. I mean, what is the situation there at the moment?
It's been a little bit up and down here and there. It's a very much an unknown time, but like I said earlier, we've found that staying positive and doing what we can to use this time effectively. I mean, we've been closed. The entire industry has been closed now since the 26th of June. I know that for a fact. It's been a few months, but we found that, like I said, staying positive, continuing with with our plans and our goals. It's given us the opportunity to do a lot of growth and a lot of internal growth, and focus a lot on the business side of things during this time, because there's a lot less moving parts right now. So yeah.
For myself, I had more time to go fishing because
and
that's my passion. I love fishing down here.
Well, I wasn't going to bring that up really, Bill, because I thought it might be a bit of a sore point because you're never at work because you're always fishing, So yeah. I wasn't going to bring it up. Now you've got George as your right-hand man, I thought, I wouldn't bring that up because it'd be a sore point, but you brought it up anyway, so that's good. Just quickly, you brought up the earthquake, but you've had some real bad trouble as well in Melbourne as well, haven't you? I mean, I saw it on Twitter and saw it on a few. We don't seem to be getting this news on our mainstream news channels, especially on the BBC. And we've heard nothing about what the strife that you've had in Melbourne, but it's been going on a couple of days now, isn't it? Like from last weekend, and you've had crowds of people gathering, fighting with the police, and all sorts of things going on. Is this all to do with lockdown because people want to get back to work, or because things have been restricted? What's the reason behind all this?
I feel a bit sorry for Melbourne as they've been in lockdown for a lot longer than Sydney, and I do feel for the small businesses and all our industry and other industries. But the previous sort of protest was more about the construction business. I think they were pushing to get to mandate the vaccine to go back to work, and I felt like there was a bit of a backlash in Melbourne. Sydney, thankfully, there's nothing like that. There's nothing like that. Sydney's it's okay, but Melbourne's had a hard run, and especially after all that, yesterday's earthquake added even more more pressure.
I mean, if it doesn't rain, it pours. The saying is, isn't it? I mean, without people being, in so much strife already, and then things like that happen. Is it true that Melbourne's been locked down more than any other city in the world at the moment?
It is definitely true. Yes, definitely true. That's right.
Is that because local government are so strict and they want to, they want zero tolerance, or is it just because you're having so many cases?
I think particularly down within Melbourne, they're our second largest city. So because it's such a condensed area, there's no better way to put it. Everyone's just on top of everyone. So I think that's probably the biggest contributor to it. So when they get one case, it blows up a lot more than it would like here in Sydney, where yes, we have more people, but we're spread over 3-4 times the same amount of space.
Yeah, premiers. Each state has a different premier, and they have a different way, I guess. And some premiers we just want it zero, and some premiers are a bit more relaxed, I guess, and understand that small business has to get up and go. Thankfully, in our industry, we feel that people just want to get vaxxed and get on with life. as fast as possible. Open up. That's the feedback I'm been getting. So I have in our portfolio or in our people with us, we have never had anyone. We haven't had anyone to say no, I'm not getting vaccinated or things like that. They just want to get on. They just can't wait to go back to the salon and have the vibe.
Yeah.
Can I ask you, Mo? I'm really interested. You've got 48 shops. I mean, are they spread all over Australia? Forgive my ignorance.
Yes, they are. Yes. So we start off in Sydney.
Yeah.
And Sydney is a bit of a big city, and there's a lot of competition in Sydney. There's a lot of high rents in Sydney. So what we decided to do is go regional. So in small towns across Australia. So it's basically what our idea was, to bring the city to the country, instead of the country coming to visit the city. Oh. So we try to create and then blend in with the local community, and we have a little bit of a program where we go to a small country town of like 10,000 people, and and educate the local hairdresser or local barber or local people that actually didn't have a chance to become what they really wanted to become. So we go there as a team, about 4 or 5 of us, and we stay there for months, and we do some density training for the people that are really passionate. And we see that these guys are going to be, the person that's going to own this shop, for example, in the next couple of years. And that's how we've been doing it. So we're enjoying this whole regional towns instead of big cities.
Yeah. Well, that's amazing. It's absolutely amazing. Well, congratulations on that. Yeah.
Very much.
How long has Moe Co been going, Bill? How many shops have you opened, for instance, in the last, I don't know, 2 years or something?
I think we have opened about 15 in the last 2 years, 15 salons. We have another 7 on the way coming now. As you can appreciate, it's all relationship based here. And, most of our shops are in shopping centers. Only this one here, it's in a bit of a business precinct in Sydney, where it's outside. We had access to come because in the mornings I couldn't get here at 5 o'clock in the shopping centers because they're still closed. So COVID, sometimes without sounding arrogant, it's a blessing in a way, because you can get sort of more negotiating powers, I guess. You can talk about you can get better deals, like they say. So we did a few good shops with good people, I guess, coming up. We've got some bit of a unique design, and that's
cool.
I mean, fair play to yourself. It's you've got to take the opportunity when you can, anyway. And you're not trading on anybody's misery, kind of thing. You're enhancing the company, and you're bringing, like you say, the city to the suburbs, kind of thing. So it's a great. I know we spoke about this before because you've been on the show before, and you've got a great business model, and it's fantastic to see. It's just unfortunate that. So many businesses are locked down at the moment. I know we speak to the producer, obviously, Trevor very well. He's in Adelaide, and it's absolutely killing him at the moment because he can't travel. I mean, the whole of Australia is pretty well locked down, isn't it, for international travel as well. So, I'm waiting for have a pint with him. I think it's going to be an almighty shindig as soon as he gets released, and we get to do the shows around the world again. So. Well, I'm hoping to come to Australia as well again. We've been a couple of times, so it's it'll be awesome to get back around the world. Just quickly, I know time's tracking on, and you two are you've done a fantastic job by coming in for us. We appreciate it immensely. Just from a training point of view, I know you've spoke about how you take control of your training. You do block training and then get the shop up and running. So all the staff that you do and you train, you give them the opportunity to own or part own that shop as well. Is it more like a franchise, or do they have a stake in the actual shop?
Well, exactly what you just said. We identify a guy that wants to step up slowly and enhance their work life. So and then we sort of his initiative and our initiative, we help each other, and slowly he becomes a salon manager, and then he becomes up a stakeholder of the shop. So their skin is in the game. They feel like it's, you know, their life in the shop, and then also they also create their own vibe in their own store, and they start having this unique way of, you know, for when he was a little young boy, next minute he's 20 years old, and I know it all sounds young, but like George, for example, like you said, he grew up very quickly, but you know, his initially with his hard work, you know, got him to become, you know, it's fun. We're having fun basically in all this, but so it's not like a franchise. It's like a partnership together, and eventually, when the guys wants to own all the shop, we're very happy to say hand over the shop to them, because I know that's our passion more than anything. Giving is more rewarding than receiving all the time. You know, we have to give back to everybody, and like you said before, we never want to tread on anyone's toes. You know, we actually in some areas where, like I said before, we go to a regional town and we actually talk to a local barber, and we actually get instead of looking like vultures coming, from the city to the country, in some cases we got actually about 6 of them. We actually joined together. We joined together, and it's been fantastic for some small shop, for example, that you know, didn't have an opportunity to, you know, have a better, I guess, negotiating power with the landlord. We can come back and, you know, we can help each other, and it's been a few of them they're watching right now. They're very happy. Yeah. Good.
So it gives them time to grow, but you can hold the hand along the way as well, which is fantastic. What do you think about that, Richie? Do you think
I think that's absolutely commendable, because you're going to have those. I mean, you're going to have these little small towns, 10,000 people. You're going to have an existing barber there, and you effectively, I think what you're doing is regenerating the whole thing. And the older guy possibly there is going to have lots of stuff that he can share with these younger. So the whole thing, if you can create that cohesion, has to be positive, as you say, for everybody involved.
Exactly. That's right. Exactly.
Yeah, amazing. Well done, chaps. Well done. Yeah, cool. I'll raise my glass to that.
I guess you guys aren't drinking today, are you?
It's a bit early in the morning to raise the glass.
Coffee shop.
I said to Richie, you know, we obviously come online half an hour, and we just have a 5-minute chew over what we're doing and where we're going, and I said, I don't think many of the guys will be drinking tonight. I said, because we're at 8 o'clock. It's middle of the night for the Aussie guys. We've got Sonny, who's still at work at lunchtime. I said, so I don't think many of them. And he says, what did you exactly, you can tell him, what did you exactly say about 5 o'clock in the morning drinking?
Oh, I said, well, I can't really honestly remember. You must expect, you know, the way I can remember things. But I do actually get up now at the time I used to go to bed, if that's a possibility. So, I mean, the thing is, guys, if you've been out, there's a great possibility that you're still drinking.
That's true. That's
true.
Put it this way, if we were with you, we'd be drinking at this time anyway. So, but it's a great business model, and it's great to see that you're still successful even through these very difficult times. Yeah. Just before we do wrap it up, and I know time's getting on, and are you two guys going to work today? Are you
going to bed now, aren't they? Surely.
I'm going to try to bed.
Yeah, that's what I just had to go back to bed.
Oh, you see.
Where we are right now, we're about 30 k's away from home. So because this is the only place that we're allowed to open, because it's on the street. Most of our stores are in shopping centres, and they're obviously closed that early in the morning. So we've been up since.
Sorry about that, guys, but thank you very much indeed. Just before we wrap this up, and we've got a couple of last questions. Is there any chance we can have a look around the barbershop you're in? Can you pick your device up and let's have a look round, George?
Okay. So I can kind of see.
Nice. Very nice.
Looks great.
And you're out on the street, so it is daylight now there.
We just watched the sunrise.
Cool.
So how many staff have you got in that particular shop?
This one here we have 4. This is like a business park, business precinct. So it's a different system here in compared to the shopping centers where you just get walk-ins. Here they have an appointment system because all the banks and all the business people that work here before COVID. So they have an appointment because they have a tight schedule. So it's all appointments based in this particular store. Yeah.
Right. Okay. So all your staff who come in, they still locked down in this particular store though, aren't they?
Everybody's locked down in Sydney. We're all our shops are closed.
Yeah. And when do you think that's going to change, or you haven't got a clue?
They're saying on the 18th of October that double vaccinated people can come get a haircut and double vaccinated staff can work. That's the latest advice so far.
So altogether you're going to be locked down for 4 months, just over 4 months again.
Yep.
Unbelievable. I think the longest we did was 3.5 in one go. Altogether we were locked down for 7.5 months. But it's still a long time, no matter which way you look at it, isn't it?
Yeah, it is a long time. Yeah.
Look, it's a time that we've taken the positive out of it, and we've really focused on the business and even just focused on spending time with family. I mean, when we're working, you're getting up early in the morning, you're running out the door, and then by the time you get home at night, you're smashed, exhausted, and you don't even eat. You just go straight to sleep, or So it's been a good time to spend with family, focus on the business as a whole. And really implement some really, really, really cool stuff that's coming up.
I take it you guys do a lot of traveling internally as well. You've got no international travel. So even the travel interior of the country has been curtailed completely then, I guess, yeah?
Exactly right. Yep, that's right. Yep. We're just waiting for especially ourselves. We got shops all around Australia, like in Adelaide and Tasmania and Brisbane and Melbourne. So we feel like we're a bit handcuffed at this stage, but hopefully, we stay optimistic and we want to, things open up and then everything's back. It's a big party.
Get back in the air again.
Wow.
Yeah, because I'm involved with this thing called Barbers, right? And I was over in Australia and we were thinking about setting one up there. I went over to Brisbane and we were setting up a ride down through the Gold Coast, down to Sydney. But I don't know if you've heard about Barbers, right? But it's something we do here that raises quite a lot of money for children's charity. So we're hoping to reawake that when post-COVID. So hopefully catch up with you guys then.
Oh,
fantastic! Yeah, fantastic. And we're happy to participate in your charity, Richie.
Okay,
no problem.
Brilliant. Most days.
You've got a contact there now to take you all round Australia, Richie. So it was worth coming on after all, wasn't it?
Oh, most definitely. I'm on my way now. I go and pack my bags.
He'll do anything for get on his bike and have a bit of sun on his back. I tell you that. He's cheeky.
Summer here now, which is good.
Yeah.
Perfect.
We're just going into winter here.
Yeah. Our weather's just turning, and you guys are just coming out to winter as well, aren't you? So it's all on the up at the moment. I've just had a word off production, off Trevor. He says, this means nothing to me. Is it Channel 9? Does that mean anything to you?
Is it Channel 9?
Is it Channel 9?
Yeah.
I don't know. What does that mean?
I don't know what that means. It's where the shop is.
Oh, yes.
Channel 9 or 10?
Oh, Channel 7.
7, sorry.
Yeah, Channel 7's right there.
Just in
that building right there.
All right. Oh, got you. So
that's right.
he's been on Crime Watch there, I think.
Yeah, all the Channel 7 production and all the shows happen up here in this building. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. He said he must know the area then. So I think Trevor used to live in Sydney, didn't he?
Yeah, I think he's been here before. I think when I met Trevor in a couple of years ago here, actually he came to the store.
All right, okay, that's why he's got inside information. Then he's put this in here, and I said, "What's Channel 9?" I had no idea what he was talking about, and then I guessed it must be TV. He must have been on Crime Watch again. That's why he knows where it is. So. Well, fellas, it's been an absolute pleasure having you on the show. Thank you once again. I know it's second time for you, Bill, and it's Doesn't happen very often that we have people on twice. So you're very special for a very special company. It's lovely to meet you, George. Hope you're very successful within the company, and it's been a pleasure to have you on the show. I'll just hand over to Richie, and he can say his byes anyway. But thank you very much, fellas.
Thank you,
Yeah,
Richie.
Bill and George, a great pleasure to spend a very early morning with you. It's going to be a good night from me and a good morning to you, I guess. And I look forward to catching up with you next time I'm in Oz.
You're welcome. Thank you very much. Nice to meet you, and thank you for having us again. Thank you.
Thanks, fellas. See you later. Get to bed.
Get to bed. I'm the one who's going to bed. Oh, brilliant, guys. Really brilliant.
What a company, eh?
Very interesting. I mean, 48 shops, but to be going into these small towns and working, I mean, I just think that's empowering, isn't it?
Oh, it is for the staff, because I think for a lot of the time when the guys who they work with, to give them that opportunity is unbelievable, isn't it? And they're opening another 7. So that's 55 shops by, if they're allowed to reopen, in the next 6 months or something, that they'll be up to 55. I mean, that is unbelievable, isn't it?
I mean, that's a phenomenal. I mean, just actually managing all that, let alone, but I mean, and they spend a lot of time, didn't they? They said they'll go over there and sometimes spend years, sort of helping set up the shop. So yeah. I think it's like a kind of social enterprise. It's, it's incredibly noble and empowering for everybody involved,
Yeah. I forgot to ask the question. There was a question I'd written down. How easy is it to get British barbers over there? Because I know they're always falling over themselves to get any British barber there to work. So anybody who fancies Australia, the details are on the screen. I think their Instagram was on the screen while they were on. So, but Moe Co in Australia. If you need any information, go through the BritishBarbers.com or thebarbersarms.co.uk, and we'll give you information on how to get out there. But we've got a strong connection with there because our producers out there, and the BBA has got an office out there. So we do trade testing and stuff like that to put you in the right place. So anybody who fancies it, go to sunny Australia. Not at the moment, obviously, of course, because you can't travel there because it's closed. But in the future, I think it's a great opportunity. Did you like your time in Australia, Richie?
I was brilliant. Actually, I only went there. Well, I went there twice, and it was absolutely phenomenal because I'm teamed up with my pal Jimmy Niggles. I don't know if you ever come across him. He's the guy who very recently auctioned his beard for $1 million.
Oh yeah, I saw it.
And that was done in Sydney. I didn't get there for that, but we did some motorcycling, as I said, up in Brisbane, Queensland, and I've got a distributor of Captain Fawcett, also happens to be in Sydney. So yeah, I found the whole place, really welcoming. Yeah, great place. Yeah.
I had my mate son. He's out there. He's working out there, and obviously he's got stuck out there. And I think it's going to be the making of him. He went for 12 months, and I think he's been there for just over 2 years now because he can't get home. But he's
is his wife disappointed? Or?
Well, no, he's a young man. He's 23. I don't think I think if I was him, I don't think I'd ever come back. To be honest,
No.
He's on the Gold Coast, and
brilliant.
he's having a whale of the time. But what a beautiful place! I've only ever been to Adelaide. I've been to our office to Trevor out there and worked in barbershops over there. And what a beautiful place, and what a climate as well. They've got everything, haven't they, out there? So amazing. Yeah, anybody fancies it? It's a great place. Well, I'm just going to charge my glass just to just quickly have another quick drink. Just to finish off the show. Can't finish on an empty glass, so I'll give you a bit of a huzzah before we go. But from your point of view with the state of the industry at the moment, you've got your finger on the pulse, Richie. You're a manufacturer. You're a distributor. You have a lot to do, and you give a lot to the industry. What do you think the feeling is within the industry at the moment? Well, you've got your finger on the pulse. What's happening around the country?
My feeling is that it's very strong, that people have battened down the hatches for the last year and a half, and as in fact those people we're speaking to George out there and Bill, people have used this time, either to sort of work out how they want to set up their business, how they want to redesign their shop or whatever. And I think it's been quite an empowering time. And I think people are going to come out of this really a lot stronger and maybe more focused, because I think possibly it was so chaotic. We all get onto these bandwagons. There were so many shows. There was so much things really going on. Sometimes you're just being pushed along by the kind of tide. And I think it's allowed people to take stock and really focus on where they want to be with both their business, their shops and things. So I think we're going to come out of this a lot stronger, and it's happening already.
And I think you're right. I think it's I'm a business owner. You're firefighting sometimes. We've got 6 locations. We've got the academy. We travel. I think sometimes you feel like a bit of a hamster. You can't get off the wheel. Once you get on, you can't get off, kind of thing. And I think a lot of us have felt like that over the past few years. And it does, something like this happens. It does change your mindset a little bit, doesn't it? It does make you sharpen your pencil, make you more focused.
And I do think, with the correct energy, if you've got the right attitude and drive, and anything you do in life that is a success, is some drive and hard work. And if you can just focus that energy, we're all going to come out of this incredibly strong. Yeah,
I agree. And, those sentiments, I think, will hold true with a lot of people. So with you being Captain Fawcett's right-hand man, what's in the future? What's in the immediate future? And what's exciting? What's going to happen with the brand that you represent at the moment? What's happening?
Well, we've got a few things up our sleeve. And again, for our business, it's given us a chance to focus. I haven't been able to travel every week and stuff. I've been at home. I go back now and the dogs recognize me, and they used to try and bite me, and things like that. And even the wife's being slightly more polite, which is another thing. So I think we've got some new products coming up. For Fawcett, I live and breathe Captain Fawcett. I think it's a strong brand. Pride ourselves not just on the whole design concept, but the quality of the products. And I think our base is getting stronger, because if something grows too quickly, it's a bit like building a house with very poor foundations. I think it's very important to have strong foundations, and as you build up from that, then you have a strong thing. So I'm excited. I'm excited.
Very good. Well, hopefully we'll see you hope to see you before then, but if I don't see you before, I'll see you at Salon International, which is the second weekend in October. Yeah. Which will come very quickly as soon as we get out the end of this month, won't it? We'll be down there, and I'm sure we'll catch each other for an alcoholic-free beverage somewhere along the line.
Well, also, if we've got a minute, I just want to mention Barbers' Ride, because Barbers' Ride is going to happen again in August in 2022. And this year we're going to do the Southwest Peninsula. So we're going to start in Weston-super-Mare and then go down Redruth, all the way along the south coast, and we're going to visit Wahl, and we'll end up in Margate. So it's going to be like a beachfront kind of bit of mayhem there, sandy mayhem.
Oh, very good. So hopefully you'll have a bit better weather down that neck of the woods then as well. So what date is that?
That'll be, I think, August the 7th provisionally is when we're gonna start. I think it's something like that, August the 7th. Bryony, unfortunately, has gone home now, so I have to phone a friend. And but around about August the 7th, it's the same week pretty much every year. Yeah.
Oh, brilliant. So anybody who wants to give to that charity can still do so on your giving page as well, I guess.
Yeah, everything go via Just Giving at Barbers' Ride, Just Giving. It's all the money, every single month, a penny's going to make a wish. And more importantly, it's not just about giving funds, it's actually about giving stuff. So the different barber shops that we'll visit, and the sponsors, like we've got incredible sponsors. I think Booksy are coming on this year. Wahl are upping the ante. So it's about getting involved in any which way. So it's not just about giving money, it's about giving time and
Fantastic. Well, it just leaves me to say absolute pleasure to have you on the show, sir. Thank you for coming on and giving your time You haven't got far to go from now. I know. Has Brian left you the keys?
No,
You
Brian,
lock up
Brian,
the
I
road.
think I've been locked in, but I come to work at 5, so I'm thinking I might get down on the sofa downstairs.
Well, it's been an absolute pleasure, mate. Thanks for coming on. If I can just leave everybody with, please go to britishbarbers.com. Digest is out. Some great stuff in there for everybody to see and get involved with. Remember, Captain Fawcett for anything to do with you've heard tonight. If you want any questions, if you want to know Richie's inside leg or what he uses on his beard, please get in touch. They're on Facebook, and give us a follow, The British Barber, for myself. It just leaves me to say thank you very much. We are here again next Wednesday. We're staying on a Wednesday for next week at least. We're trying to mix it up on a Friday and a Wednesday to give everybody a chance. I know quite a few of you have commented that you like the Wednesday show. So it just leaves me to say have a great week, stay safe, and hope everybody's enjoyed the show. Thank you everybody who's listening in today and who's going to catch it up on the podcast. Hopefully we'll have the Mr. Simon Shaw back, the legend, the myth, the man.
I haven't finished my jokes yet.
All right, you can finish with the joke, Richie. You can finish with the
joke. No. I'll save that for the next time. Thank you very, very much for having me. Really appreciate it. And good night to everybody, and keep it real.
Thank you very much, Richie. And I'll just second that. Stay safe. Treat everybody nice. Spread the love. And we'll see you next Wednesday. Hopefully with the new look, Simon Shaw out of rehab.
See you guys. Thank you very much.
Good night.